Russian passenger plane has crashed near Tinda, a town in the country's far east, killing all 49 people on board.
Firefighters in Cyprus are battling the country's largest wildfires in over 50 years, which caused major destruction and claimed the lives of 2.
A Russian passenger plane carrying 49 people has crashed, killing all on board after it disappeared off the radar over the Amur region in the country's far east. According to authorities, air traffic controllers lost contact with the passenger plane operated by a Siberia-based airline when it was attempting a second approach as it reached its destination.
Предварительно на борту находилось 48 человек. Самолет следовал по маршруту Хабаровск-Благовещенск-Тында. При проведении авиаразведки вертолетом Ми-8 в труднодоступной местности на склоне горы обнаружен фюзеляж самолета. К месту крушения следуют поисково-спасательные подразделения, аэромобильная группировка МЧС России. В главном управлении открыт телефон горячей линии.
The crash comes as aviation safety concerns grow in Russia as some long-range drone attacks by Kyiv have sparked travel chaos at Moscow's airports. Russia's Transport Investigative Committee says it has launched a criminal probe to determine the exact cause of the crash.
Firefighters in Cyprus are battling the country's largest wildfires in over 50 years. The fires caused the destruction of many homes as well as the evacuation of dozens of villages. 2 people were also found dead in a burnt-out car on Wednesday night. The wildfires scorched at least 120 square kilometers of land and have destroyed just over 1% of the island's landmass. The blaze continued to rage into Thursday. A fire department spokesperson warned that strong winds and intense heat may further worsen the situation, which he said could potentially become very dangerous. While the cause of the fire is still being investigated, the chief fire officer told local media eyewitnesses who called the fire service had reported arsonists had caused the fire to break out at a landfill.
The EU-China summit held in Beijing in the context of high trade tensions has enabled and fostered dialogue between Europe and China. One of the concrete steps forward from the summit is Ursula von der Leyen's announcement of the implementation of new mechanisms to streamline Chinese rare earth exports. However, Brussels has mainly stressed the need to rebalance the trade relations.
We have reached a clear inflection point. As we said to the Chinese leadership, for trade to remain mutually beneficial, it must become more balanced. Europe welcomes competition, we like competition, but competition has to be fair.
Last year, the EU exported 213 billion euros of goods to China and imported a value of 519 billion euros of Chinese goods. The EU's trade deficit with China exceeds 300 billion euros. Brussels accuses Beijing of hindering access for European companies to the Chinese market. The EU taxed Chinese electric vehicles last year, and in retaliation, China has taxed European liquor, pork, and dairy products. Also in the EU side is China's support for Russia.
Les dirigeants européens ont dénoncé les exportations chinoises de biens à double usage que Moscou utilise dans sa guerre d'agression contre l'Ukraine. Bruxelles a également appelé la Chine à user de son influence sur la Russie afin de l'amener à la table des négociations et conclure un cessez-le-feu. Amandine S, Euronews, Bruxelles.
The city of Odessa in southern Ukraine was the target of a major Russian drone attack on Wednesday night. The attack damaged several historic monuments in the old town, including UNESCO-protected landmarks such as the renowned Privos Market. A 9-story residential building was also struck and severely damaged, injuring at least 4 people. Dozens of residents had to be evacuated. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky denounced the attack, pointing to the fact it had come just a day after the third round of peace negotiations between Ukraine and Russia, which were held in Istanbul. The peace talks resulted in little progress, but Kyiv and Moscow did agree to yet another prisoner exchange. Zelensky added that Russia also launched attacks at other regions, including at the Cherkasy, Zaporizhzhia and Kharkiv regions. In Kharkiv, a massive attack resulted in the death of 3 people, and at least 33 were wounded. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian drone struck an oil depot in Sirius near the Russian city of Sochi. The Russian Defense Ministry claimed that they shot down 42 Ukrainian drones overnight.
At least 12 people have been killed since border clashes broke out between Thailand and Cambodia. The fighting began on Thursday morning close to the ancient temple beside the border between Thailand's Surin province and Cambodia's Oda Mianche province. Both countries accused each other of starting the deadly shooting that provoked the escalation.
គ្រប់បញ្ហាទាំងអស់ដែលកើតឡើងចុងក្រោយនេះរវាងកម្ពុជានិងថៃភាពតានតឹងទាំងឡាយគឺថៃគឺជាអ្នកបង្កហេតុតែសូមបងប្អូនយើងចងចាំកន្លែងត្រង់នេះហើយប្រជាពលរដ្ឋខ្មែរក៏ដូចជាសហគមន៍អន្តរជាតិបានដឹងច្បាស់ថាថៃជាអ្នកបង្កហេតុឈ្លានពានទឹកដីកម្ពុជាแล้ว เราป้องกันตัวเราเองกับป้องกันอธิปไตยของประเทศนะครับอันนี้เป็นหัวใจสำคัญและเรายอมไม่ได้ที่จะมีลักษณะที่จะบุกรุกหรือในการที่จะละเมิดอธิปไตยของประเทศเราเพราะนั้นตรงนี้เราก็ทำหน้าที่อย่างเต็มที่ในการปกป้องตัวเองและก็ในการดูแลอธิปไตยของประเทศนะครับ
The latest clashes comes after months of heightened tensions between the neighboring countries following the death of a Cambodian soldier in a border skirmish in May. The border disputes between the two nations started more than a century ago during France's colonial rule of Cambodia.
Columbia University says it has reached a deal with the Trump administration to pay more than $220 million to restore federal funding cut over alleged campus anti-Semitism. The university had already lost $400 million in grants and risked losing billions more. Under the agreement, Columbia will pay $200 million over 3 years, plus $21 million to settle claims of civil rights violations against Jewish employees after Hamas's October the 7th attack on Israel. The Trump administration said it cut funding over the university's failure to curb campus anti-Semitism during the Israel-Hamas war. Columbia was one of the first targets of President Trump's crackdown on pro-Palestinian campus protests. He accused the university of allowing harassment of Jewish students. But protest leaders and some Jewish students say the demonstrations were not anti-Semitic. They say they were protesting the Israeli government and the war on Gaza.
Para mim esta fotografia resume muito aquilo que foram aqueles dias de grande alegria. Quando vejo este caminhão militar com os soldados lá atrás a manifestarem-se com as espingardas no ar. Quando vejo os miúdos a fazer o V da Vitória. O outro oficial à frente, dentro da cabine da carrinha também, a fazer o V da Vitória. Para mim é uma fotografia do ponto de vista da estética, da narrativa, perfeita. E acho que não há nada que esteja a mais nem nada que esteja a menos. Esta foi a chegada do primeiro navio de tropas da Guiné. E era incrível, as pessoas que esperavam os soldados, e era também notável como os soldados traziam uma t-shirt do Amílcar Cabral e do PAIGC, daqueles com quem tinham estado a lutar, pormenores do cinto com 2 pistolas cruzadas e depois também traziam animais selvagens, portanto, o que era muito normal naquela altura, e as pessoas. Esta fotografia acho que é um retrato daquilo que era o povo português. Uma das fotografias que mais me sensibiliza é esta do Carlos Paredes, já feita em 1982, mas em que o Carlos Paredes, apesar de famoso e de protagonista da Revolução, continuava a trabalhar com manga de alpaca no Hospital de São José. Mas depois temos mais figuras. Uma que é a Amália, que não é muito uma figura do 25 de Abril, como sabem, ela até andou a bater tachos contra a Revolução, mas a verdade é que ela se integrou muito bem naquilo que foi, sobreviveu ao 25 de Abril, a sua obra sobreviveu, acabou por ser adotada também por aqueles cantores que compunham e cantavam as baladas de intervenção. Temos aqui estas 4 fotografias. Esta é uma das últimas que foi feita ao Álvaro Cunhal. Depois temos o Vasco Gonçalves, que eu fotografei em sua casa, já depois da loucura do PREC. O José Saramago, uma figura com que eu nunca simpatizei do ponto de vista pessoal. E acabamos com o Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa no seu escritório na Lapa, com o Fernando Pessoa como moldura.